with us. Константин Георгиевич.
Ну, пока я не вижу, что меня отвлекал.
Можно начинать уже.
Да, окей. То есть все идет, да? Запись пошла.
Да. Угу.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody, and hi, everybody. So today we'll discuss with you the application of Bio-wellbio-well instrument with Sputnik sensor. You know that in Bio-wellbio-well we have many options, and all the time we are increasing these options. Now you can take measurements of people. With Sputnik you can take measurements of environment. Then soon you will have BioClip, and this would allow you to take measurements of people in dynamics and water. So we are providing electrodes for water measurement, and this allows to take measurements of water. So that's all different possibilities, and we plan to increase it in the future. So let's discuss about Sputnik measurements. And this is a measurement of energy of space. And today I will dedicate only to this, mostly to this topic. This is based on the idea of 5 elements of nature. So we have Chinese principle, and this is the principle of organization of traditional Chinese medicine. And this is wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. So in principle, we can take measurements on every element of this nature. And in this measurement, we connect sensor to the grounding electrode, the metal cylinder, titanium cylinder that is installed on a Bio-wellbio instrument, and then we can take measurements. So with Sputnik, we are measuring air, we're measuring space. But in principle, we can connect other electrodes that would allow us other substances like water, earth, wood, metal, and if we have time, if we have some options, then of course it's better to take measurements of all those 5 elements of nature. And so how does it look like? And same, we can take measurements of water, and we did a lot of measurements of this kind, and this is very sensitive. For example, we can register different holy songs, like gospel songs, and you see the graph comparing with measurement of tap water and the pulse of gospel song. We can measure different mantras and again what responds to mantras. We can measure the influence of Quran prayer to water, because it's not only a response of water, but first of all it is a response of the energy of space. And in control, of course, we don't have anything. And the best information would be to measure natural events in space. And we have some natural events as sunrise, sun down, but the most enigmatic, the most, I would say, dramatic, those are sun eclipses. So we were able to take measurements of sun eclipse several times, in particular in 2008 in Siberia. It was total sun eclipse. And you know that sun eclipse, it comes like a line, like a shadow, because it's a shadow of a moon on the sun. And so you can take measurements in different parts of this line, of this area, and you will see different responses. So we did this together with our colleagues from Academy of Science, and first of all it was our dear friends and colleagues here, and we were able to put instruments in different 6 areas, parts of the area. So it wasn't just not only in one place, but it was in different parts of the area. And they all been measuring practically simultaneously, but of course with a little bit difference. And what was found? it was found that during all those measurements, it was very strong variations of signal before sun eclipse and quite stable signal after sun eclipse. And what's interesting, it was practically in all sites where it was done measurements. Of course, they were a little bit different because it was different places, different instruments, but it was clear evidence that Sputnik sensor responds to environmental transformation. And it was clear from statistics, so it was clear statistical difference. Same data was repeatable later with Dr. Limota, you know, was a wonderful person, and our dear friend who passed away just quite recently. And with him, we did measurements at different lakes, in particular at Baikal Lake. And there at Baikal Lake, he was doing special ceremony. He was doing ceremony of blessing the lake. And during this ceremony, we were able to record the moments when that correlated to different moments of event. For example, this is beginning of event, and then it was beginning of ceremony, and you see big increase in readings. Then the increase all the time, and then it was meditation, and in meditation typically we see decrease of energy, and you see this decrease of energy, quite strong decrease. Then again increase when Dr. Limota came and started his presentation, and he starts meditation process, and again it was decrease, but then here he starts blessing of the water, and you see it was increase, very clear increase. And it's interesting, one moment here you see very strong peak. Here Dr. Limota was singing a song, and it was clear effect, but then after the end. So as you see, this graph reflects all the moments of this ceremony. And it was absolutely clear, and it was related to very distinct natural phenomenon. So it was very clear effect. Same we had in different parts of the world. For example, on Solovki Island, in far north of Russia, there are big monastery, and this monastery, there are monks who live there, because this is far away, far remote area, and this is a lot of islands around this lake. And at one of the islands, it is very specific, very ancient Celtic circles, Celtic labyrinths. So it's a part of Celtic tradition to organize this type of labyrinths where people was coming to celebrate some special events. And also this labyrinth where we were coming and were measuring inside the labyrinth and outside the labyrinth. And you need to understand, this island is absolutely remote. There are nothing in this island. And life there is impossible. There are no vegetation, no animals. And in winter time, everything is covered with snow, and frost is very strong. So it's clear, this is clear that this particular island was especially selected for ceremonies, because and people was coming there in ancient time, from time to time, just to make a ceremony. And we done measurements in this place, inside and outside, with pipeline and sensor, and it was found that it is absolutely clear difference. Measurements outside and inside these circles, inside these holy places. So it was absolutely clear that they have very specific energy. We repeated this measurement twice, and every time we had this same effect. And of course, it's clear that they had an effect not only on sensor, but on human beings as well. So those are energy of people who was outside of this Celtic labyrinth, and those are energy of people who was inside of the Celtic labyrinth. So you see, very clear difference. Same with other people, outside and inside. So this was correlated with dowsing measurements, because we came there together with Valery Sechivanov, who is a very strong dowser, and it was shown that it is really big effect. Of course, we had many experiments in mountains, in different mountains, and both in Caucasus Mountains, in Ecuador Mountains. It was shown that at mountains at high altitude, it is always increase of energy, both for sensors and for people as well. A very clear effect was during our expedition to the Lost World in Venezuela. It was a big congress in Caracas, organized by Dr. Jose Alalde, who is a big scientist. And then we came there by air. We came to a little village of Indians by trucks, first by air, then by trucks. And then we had to walk through jungles and savanna for 3 days. And we camped in savanna. There was a lot of interesting ideas, a lot of interesting moments during the way, and you can find them in my book, The Energy of Space. But finally we came to this huge wall. Okay. And this wall, it is the area where Indians named the Mother of Rain, because they believe that rain is organized just at the top of this mountain. And it is 800 meters steep wall, so it's very practically impossible to climb it. And we were able to go there step by step, slowly, because there are one crevice that allows to climb to the top. So it took us again the whole day to climb to the top, and it was really raining all the time. And there at the top, it's very unique vegetation, very unique area, and there I was able to take measurements with Sputnik and other sensors, and it was clear difference. Nearby the sea, signal was practically stable. Up there, nearby the ocean, it was quite some variation, but the highest variation, of course, was at the top of a line. So when we are measuring with Sputnik, we take into account different parameters, and in Bio-wellbio-well software you can find different parameters. And the most important for us those are area, then energy, and variation, standard deviation of area. Standard deviation, it is the way how we evaluate transformation of signal. And this is not dependent on the size of signal. I can give you just the example. Let's imagine you are on the boat in the ocean. And for you, while you are in the boat, that's important to see the amplitude of waves, how high they are. And it doesn't matter for you whether it is 2 meters deep under the boat or 2,000 meters deep under the boat. If there are strong waves, then they may be dangerous in both cases. And if people are drowned, then it doesn't matter whether it will be 2 meters or 2,000 meters. So that is why when we are measuring standard deviation, then we can evaluate the level of variation in particular area. And when we came back, then of course energy came down. And again, it is important to use Bio-well GDV because we can take measurements not only environment but people as well. So you see this person before coming to our area, and this is at the top of arrival. And it was for different people, same effect. So we've been measuring people day by day, and day by day it was clear effect. So before and after. This parameter from diagram. So before and after. Now in our latest upgrade of software, you will find this parameter as well. So then we had many expeditions, for example, to Canaima River in Venezuela, where it was wild jungles, where there are some anacondas flying there. And again, it was found that the highest energy was in the area of Angel waterfalls. This is the highest waterfall in the world, more than 1,000 meters high. And it is, of course, very impressive to see this waterfall. And again, just nearby this waterfall, it was very strong transformation of energy. Next expedition was to Sierra Nevada in Colombia, where Indian tribes, they live same type of life as they had for thousands of years. The way there is very complicated. There are practically no roads, only some direction, so it's really quite a challenge to come there. But being there, you can find beautiful valley with beautiful vegetation, beautiful energy, and local people who have same type of clothing, same type of life as they had for thousands of years. And they're happy because in this area there are no oil, no gold. So Spaniards, they were coming there, but for them it wasn't interesting to be there. So Indians was lucky and happy to live there for this happy life for a long, long time. And again, I was taking measurements in different parts of this valley. Energy was very stable, very calm, but only nearby their temple there are stones where the elders accept energy from the sky because they believe that they accept messages from stars. And at this particular area, the energy was very variable. So it was clear that it's very strong energy. And those people are really wonderful. So let's hope that they would be able to keep their style of life. Then, of course, we did a lot of measurements in different parts of the world. In England, in particular, where there are Aubrey, it's very well known Stonehenge, but nearby Stonehenge, there are a big area under the name Aubrey, where ancient Celtic stones. And you know that this type of Celtic stones may be found in different parts of Europe, both in England, in France, in Norway, in actually all northern countries, because it's a part of Celtic history, Celtic tradition. And from time to time they meet to celebrate. We were lucky to come there in the time of spring equinox, so you see there's very specific people there. And there it was the biggest stone. And at this biggest stone, I inserted electrodes inside the stone, one of the electrodes. And what's interesting, it was very stable signal for all the electrodes except of one electrode inside the stone. So in this particular electrode, signal was very, very strong. And of course, you can recall this old legends about King Arthur and sword in the stone. Then in Selbury Hill, we did measurement with Konstantin Korotkov, and again it was interesting. But of course, most interesting was measurements done at crop circles, because those are enigmatic situations over there. And there are one researcher in England, her name is Lucy Pringle, who is organizing expeditions to study crop circles, actually every summer. And we were lucky to come to this particular crop circle when it was organized on Friday, and we came there on Saturday. So it was absolutely clear that it's natural phenomenon, that it's not just handmade, and in my book you can find some ideas what it may be related to. And outside, energy was very stable, very, very stable for a long time. But inside, energy was increasing. So we took measurements for practically an hour, and for this hour, energy was increasing. And if you compare this, you see that it was clear difference between measurements outside and inside the crop circle. So it means that it is really something specific in all crop circles. Then we took measurements in different churches of England, and it was clear difference between different churches, between different cemeteries. So we can use Sputnik to take energy of space in different holy places, because we understand that if this church exists from 13th century, then of course it has very specific energy. Then different yoga retreats, different Peru. Peru, it's a country of wonders. There are very interesting natural phenomena, there are very interesting artifacts that we know. So it is a country where we have a lot of enigmatic moments, and we did many experiments. In particular, we did experiments with shamans. And shamans was doing their ceremony. It was in Ubamba Valley. It was at night when it was quite nice, very warm atmosphere, and it was quite light breeze. So it was clear not the influence of smoke or something like this. And in the process of ceremony, we were able to very interesting transformation of image. So you see, this is typical image of titanium cylinder, and all people who are using GDV Bio-wellbio-well, they know very well this image. But in the middle of ceremony, it was transferred to this type of image, double. So as you see, it is very interesting transformation and very enigmatic transformation. So, and it was repeatable. It wasn't just one image of this kind. It was repeatable measurement, and slowly it was deteriorating back to practically normal image. So, from the graph point of view, it looks like this on different parameters, and it's clear that it is some, again, it is some transformation of energy of space that was reflected on this transformation of image. So we believe that in different, during different processes of this kind, we can really see transformation of space. In particular, in Ecuador Expedition, it was very interesting to see the influence of high altitude, because we were able to travel through all the country from 4,000, even 5,000 meters up to sea level, to Galapagos Islands. And we were taking measurements during all the way. And it was clear dependence on the altitude, clear difference, and clear difference in energy. So it means that by measuring energy of space with Sputnik, we can really take information about holy places, about places of high energy, and even more than that, about places which are maybe useful for life and important for life. Now, Dmitry Orlov developing approach where he can take measurements of different places using different instrumentations, not only bio-wellbio-well, and using these measurements, they can recommend people what is good and what is bad. So you see that, of course, we understand that to interpret measurements that you will be doing is not easy. We need to take into account that we are dependent on sun, moon, type of the day, activity of other people. So if you take some measurements with Sputnik, it is better not to have people around. If it's possible, of course, it is better to have it at night. Not to be dependent on internet. It is better to take it in offline mode. Then you can make readings at any part of the world in the field, because we have always computers that can run for hours, and you are not dependent on this computer power. So again, you take measurements offline, you write down all geophysical parameters, temperature, atmospheric pressure, position of the moon, sun, of place where it is going on. And then you can really get very interesting information. For example, one friend of ours, Vadim Sidev in Germany, he was doing measurements every day during the year in one at the same time of the year, of the day. And he was able to find out variation of cycle that was related to moon activity. So it is clear that we are dependent on activity of moon, sun, and we are dependent on the energy of particular space. And we need to keep this in mind, and we need to keep the balance. Then if you take this measurement, if it's taken, then when you come to area where you have very strong, reliable internet, you can download this to your server. And there, of course, you are not dependent on how it is, how strong this connection. In principle, it may be done in different connections, not even very strong. And then you can process data, and for this you press button analysis, and in this analysis you need to put some labels. I prefer to put labels at equal intervals. Of course, if it was some event, some specific event, you need to keep in mind and make a label when this event has occurred. And in our latest upgrade that you will receive soon, it is a feature that you can automatically add some labels at some equal intervals. Then you press button calculate, and computer using server calculates for you different parameters. So you will see average parameters on particular intervals. You will see statistics for all parameters, and it will be possible to evaluate whether some events are statistically significant or not. And then you can have different graphs, and those graphs you can use and save to your computer. So, as I told again, for us it is very important to have area, because area, it is demonstration of the power of light, amount of photons recorded by the instrument. Then energy, because this energy of those photons, and this is very important as well. And standard deviation of area, because it's very sensitive parameter and very important parameter. So that's how you need to make this type of measurement. And then we collect all those measurements and we can compare with each other because we can send it to each other, we can exchange this, and then we will be able to make it reliable. Now, as I see, we lost signal. So it seems to me our signal came down. So that's why I'm afraid I need to finish this session. But you need to remember, always you can find some information at our website. Always you can find some information in the books, and I have books on different topics. In particular, I have a book under the name The Energy of Space. And in this book, The Energy of Space, you can find description of different situations, of different cases, and plus, of course, you can find the description of how you should operate with this device. So if we make this type of measurements all together, if we combine our efforts, then of course we will be able to create very important information, very valuable information, and this information will help humanity to be much more powerful, much more strong, and to work with space and understand what's going on in our environment, in our world. Thank you very much for the attention, and let's hope to see you next time. Bye.